So here we are today. We're here for one purpose, and I just want to begin by making our purpose here clear. The time that we have here is for remembering the truth. It's for self-realization. It's for awakening to the true and actual self that we are, beyond the matrix of fear, doubt, limitation, body identity, societal identity, dream identity, and etc. At the core, what we are is consciousness. What we are is an aspect of the one infinite creator. This is the truth about us. And as long as we continue to operate within the matrix through our avatar, we remain unaware of this true self. And we continue to chase what are actually qualities of our true self out in the world, in the matrix. We hope to find something that will bring in and complete us and liberate us. But actually, that never comes to true fruition. And that's because it can't. That's the way the matrix is built. It's not possible for you to complete yourself here because you're already complete. And yet what we're working with here, this matrix, the very substance of it, what is it? Well, that's the subject of our conversation today. It is the true power of perception. Perception can be either influenced by the dream matrix and all of that involves the past, our programming, our beliefs, etc., or it can be under the direction of the Holy Spirit. It can be under the direction of your true self. You can actually learn to wield this thing called perception, this thing called seeing, which we think is a passive thing, that seeing just kind of comes in and we are the receivers of these signals from outside. But no, of course not. Seeing is an action. Seeing is creation. Seeing is an activity and a choice. In fact, in A Course in Miracles, there is a lesson there that talks about I am responsible for what I see, not what I just do or say or think, etc. No, I'm responsible for what I see. And this is the core that we want to get into today, because in this responsibility, of course, is true power, right? Even though that is so cliche and is in all of the superhero movies, but it is still the truth. And the way that we will begin to approach this truth today is both understanding this theoretically to really see how our life and our world is made up of this thing called perception and only perception. And at the same time, then to learn to wield this, to shape this, to understand that actually we are shaping this every moment of every day, every second, every instant. Perception is shaped by only one person, by only one will, that's yours. And if it's not seemingly your will that's doing it, this is what we've come to find out here today. Let's inspect it. Let's really get under the hood of this experience called perceiving life and understand that in it is actually all of our creative power, but right now being usurped through this mechanism of the dream matrix. What we're going to see is that even though we talk in this dualistic language, that there is this dream matrix and how it's taking our power, at the core of it, this is your creation, your power, your choice that is running this entire software, this entire virtual world, this dream that we call the dream matrix. What I would love to begin with here is let me outline our journey. I want to show you a couple of slides so that we can really see this, first of all, in this progressive structured way. And then we're going to get into the depths of what we're talking about here. So let's dive into what is perception. So this definition comes from A Course in Miracles. The perception is the inherently flawed or incomplete process of interpretation that is based on the belief in separation and duality. So that is what we are perceiving. The opposite of perception is knowledge. Knowledge has got nothing to do with perception. Perception is exclusively the domain of illusion. Now, that illusion can, of course, be something that is enlivening and feels exciting, and it's what's called the happy dream illusion, yeah? Or it can be very deep and dark and limiting and can feel and be experienced as very real. So perception in itself is not the problem. Um, it is the byproduct of us essentially entering into a state or choosing a state in which we are unaware of our true self, which is the very same thing as saying we are unaware of oneness, unaware of the presence of God, unaware of who we are, where we are in truth here in this instant. Because remember, who and what you are is an extension of the infinite creator, and where you are is in the mind of God. You're not here in some earthly realm and trying to get up through different levels of the of consciousness and all of that. That yes, that's true, but it's true only in its context. It's true in the context of the dream. The dream is intricate. The dream is incredibly detailed, and it has a plethora of detail that gives it the sense of being real. But in essence, just like in your nightly dreams, when you fall asleep at night, you also have a very seemingly real experience in a seemingly real world with all level of detail really there. Because if you pick up a stone, it's not like, oh, this is a dream stone. No, it is real. It feels, you can feel the grooves. You can, like, it's exactly as this life is. So what happens is that as we experience perception, we essentially fall asleep into it. We start to believe it to be reality, but actually, it is an interpretation of reality. In fact, if we really go to the depths of what this is, it is an interpretation of God's creation. Interpretation of where are we truly? We are in the mind of God. We are in the kingdom right now. We're not trying to get there. We didn't fall out of there. There is nowhere else to go. God's kingdom is infinite. And because it is infinite, there are no edges to it, right? So you cannot actually leave this perfected state in which you are, but you can fall asleep to it. And you can imagine then that you are in a different place, in a different world, etc. Just like what happens when you lay down in your bed at night. So perception is inherently an interpretation of the mind of God. And we can really begin to tune into this and see, wait a second, um, is that what I'm really perceiving? Is this, like, whatever you're feeling, like maybe you feel terror or you feel fear or you feel lack or limitation. Well, does that exist in the mind of God? We're going to get to that later. So circumstances are not objective states that we are viewing and determining whether we saw them correctly or not. They are only distortions generated within our perception. The way that you saw a particular event, like the solar eclipse or whatever event, um, that was a individual creation, like all of the meaning, all of what that was left of it. And we're going to get to that in a moment. But let's get through this because there's a very juicy contemplation available here where we can really begin to feel what we are doing. Because if we are at this point, if you are not clear that you are the one who's creating your perception, then this contemplation that we're going to be working with today is going to help bring us there. So what is it then that controls perception? What controls your perception? So it is either the dream matrix, which we can say is the past, temptation, distortion, belief, or it is autosuggestion. Yeah. So in essence, actually, these two are the same exact thing. But here's what I want to point out here. When you think about what's happening, right? And let's say you enter into a situation, let's say it's a political situation or something that there is this like duality. Some people say, oh, it's really this way. And other people, no, it's really this way. So It's neither one of those ways. It's that people are polarizing one way or another. And actually, each one of those that thinks that they're in agreement, they have their exact, very individual dream about that and what that means. So when we say that it's either that or it's either the context or the circumstance that's informing us about what meaning to give to this experience, or it's autosuggestion, actually, it's 100% of the time autosuggestion. Even the fact that you are picking up certain other so-called suggestions, nobody's suggesting anything to you. Just because there are voices that say things, letters and words that are written in certain ways, just because there are sounds and familiar images that match the mind's experience of the past, there is nobody suggesting anything to you about what things mean, what position to take, how you should feel. This is all happening at the level of autosuggestion. And this is the place that if we really can find our hands on the levers, if we can really, so to speak, pull back the curtain and see the Wizard of Oz there controlling and operating, you realize that the Wizard of Oz is nothing but you. That all of the darkness that is emerging in your perception, all the fear, lack, limitation, all the anger, all of that is coming by the dark force that is within you, right? And in A Course in Miracles, we call that the ego. In other contexts, we may call it shadow self, etc. But the essence of it, forget all the labels. It's you, right? Whether we say that that's because this happened, or because you're in the dream matrix, or because, doesn't matter. The ultimate position is that you have a choice at the level of perception. Try to really get this in a visceral way. Try to really come into the experience of it and see that you have a choice about the lens from which you view this particular moment. Like, you can be here in a moment where in your mind, you're saying, oh, but I have these different things that I need to get done. This sounds interesting, but maybe I'll watch the replay. And you're viewing it from this point of view where, okay, so there's these different levels of importance. What do I need to, right? You could also view this from another point of view where you could be here in this moment and you could say, wow, God placed me here in this moment. I'm here and I have this opportunity to contemplate the nature of my own reality. This is amazing. This is incredible. I have, right, instead of I don't have, right? So there's many of these very small nuances that are happening almost subconsciously, because we begin to tune into them. We begin to see that we are shaping this. And we'll want to work maybe with some examples, some really stark examples, so that we can really get the sense of what's happening. Let's build our way to that. So your real power, this is your dream power, because we're going to get into another level of power here. But your real power is to realize that there is nothing being suggested to you by circumstances. You are the only operant power within your mind. We covered this in our last conversation in the previous week. So we are the only suggesters in relation to any appearance. So no matter what is unfolding, no matter what is unfolding in front of you on your screen of consciousness, the way that you see this, whether it makes you angry or whether it makes you happy, whether it gives you that sense of peace and knowing that all is well, or whether it stirs up some sense of lack, something's missing, some desire, some aversion, where is all of that coming from? This is a really good place to really slow down. I may even invite you to just close your eyes and get this sense of, okay, so everything that I experience passes through this lens of interpretation or meaning making. Okay, right. Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any emotional response to it. I wouldn't have any feeling about it. Like, I would just, if you don't have any meaning or interpretation about what you are seeing, there's no response to it. Like, if you see a pebble on the ground and you don't tell any story about it, you don't feel any certain way about it, right? So it is, in fact, this experience, this mechanism, this power within us that is active in its interpretation ability or capacity that is shaping our reality. So let's say that your partner says, "Oh, you left the fridge, not fully closed." Um, what's the first thing that's happening? What is that suggestion? Because all they said is what they are experiencing or what they are perceiving, right? Because the dream characters will say all kinds of things about what they're perceiving, what they're wanting, what they're not wanting. That's pretty obvious. So when they say this, what is the first thing? Do you feel a sense of contraction? Oh, something's wrong with me, right? Oh, I did something wrong. Oh, are they upset? Oh, are we going to be in a fight? Should I prepare for a fight? Should I have a retort of some kind? Should I offer an excuse? Should I take responsibility and say, oh, honey, sweetheart, I'm sorry. Wow, that's weird. Of course, I always intend to close the fridge door. I don't know how the heck that happened, right? So, what is it that is that first moment? Because what we are tempted to do is to assign whatever we feel about that. Let's say that we don't feel good for being called out on leaving the fridge open or leaving something out of the fridge or not whatever, some kind of like little thing. And maybe we feel annoyance. Maybe it feels irritable. Maybe you feel like, well, I've done so many things for you. Why would you even point this out? Like, notice where that's coming from. And notice that the fact that only thing that happened was somebody shared with you something that they are, of course, it's connected to their desire, maybe connected to their emotion. But that first prompt, like, here comes a line from your partner, you left the fridge open. Dang, right? And then comes this capacity, this power, which seems like it's instant. And we tend to blame our partner. We say, oh, feel annoyed, irritated. Dang, being around my partner, is irritating. I can't believe that he or she is, right? You just hopped on a train that was auto-suggested to you. Something prompted this up into consciousness. That something is you, but we're still getting to that. And now you're on a ride. And you're on a ride and you think that somebody else put you there. You think that somebody else is responsible. The minute, the instant that you think that somebody else is responsible for how you feel or what happened to you or what your outcomes are, that same second, you have taken all of your creative power, all of your ability to know the truth, all of your propensity for enlightenment. You took it, you locked it up in a little Easter egg that you just are going to then take, and you're going to toss that over into a place where somebody else is responsible, and that will never come back to you unless somebody or something in the dream comes and brings it to you. This is what human beings do on an ongoing basis, not knowing and not feeling, and not realizing that that voice that prompts up, it's not even a voice sometimes, because sometimes it's even like pre-verbal or non-verbal. It's just a whoop. But if you really slow down, you ask some questions like, is this the only way for me to interpret this? No, there's many different ways. So why this one? Hmm. Do I have to choose this one? No. Does it feel good when I choose this one? No. How would it be if I couldn't choose this particular one anymore? How would it be if I looked at that situation again? Oh, yeah, more peaceful. It's nice. Yeah, I don't have to get irritated. Wow, what happened? We realize that, oh my God, actually, there is some participation that we are having at the level of perception, at the level of what we are perceiving and how we see what we see. Okay, so I hope the picture is starting to come in clear. And of course, if you have any questions, drop them into the chat stream or into our Q&A here on Zoom. So nothing's being suggested to us. We are the only suggestors at the level of consciousness and in relation to all appearances. There are no exceptions to this. So our ultimate power to shape reality is this, that you can remove all fear, all anger, or all sadness or sense of lack, because you can relate to this moment from any premise that you desire, from any premise. So please understand that what's happening when that interpretation comes is that there is an assumed premise that we are not bringing into light. And that premise is, oh, when my partner says this or that, that means that they're going to be upset with me, or that means that I need to defend myself, or whatever they say that there's an attack on me. If it's something that didn't go wrong, it's an attack on, that didn't go right, it's an attack on me. There's a premise like that. But what we have to come to realize is that those premises are entirely arbitrary. There's no have to at the level of these premises. There's absolutely no need for you to have to choose that one, because you can take a completely different premise. And there are actually, we're going to get a little bit into this because this is a valuable skill. This is valuable knowledge, but this is not the ultimate knowledge. This is not the ultimate application of our power. It is higher than this. It is more universal than this. But these premises, we can take contextual premises such as, let's say an example. My premise for perception is that I am in each moment to open ever more fully to unconditional love. Okay, let's go. And now the same scene plays again. And here's that partner, and they're saying, oh, you left the fridge door open again. And you realize that you check your premise. You're like, oh, my premise is that, yeah, I'm here to open my heart ever more in each moment. Whoa, my partner is not happy. Wow, how is this an opportunity for me to open my heart? How is this on the way of that goal, of that vision, of that calling that I have to embody unconditional love? And then, wow, you see it completely differently. You say, "Oh, wow, sweetheart, it sounds like that really annoyed you. I have to really take responsibility for this. I'm really going to do my best. I have been doing my best. I don't know how that slipped by me, but I'm definitely going to step up my awareness, and I definitely want to contribute to your well-being because I can see it really matters to you. I really want to make sure that thing is always the way that you want it to be, whether it's a fridge door or whatever it is, right?" But what happened? What did that cost you, first of all? What was the price you had to pay to have that experience versus the experience of contraction, annoyance, attack, defense, trying to manipulate the situation or manipulate your partner or manipulate what happened? The cost is nothing. There is no cost, except you had avoided now all of that pain, emotional turmoil, discomfort, all of those things that come from operating and engaging with life from the premise of one of those egoic structures of something's missing. I need to get something in an outcome to complete myself. If somebody's in the way of that outcome, then I'm angry at them, or like I'm really in control of life and I need to control everything. Otherwise, I'm scared. Oh, I don't know how it's going to work out. Like all of those premises that come from our egoic structure and all of the infinite varieties of those. I hope it's making sense because, of course, each one of those can have an infinite ways of expressing itself. But all of those are also optional. Those are the default mode because we have been conditioned through our experience, through our parental influence, through the societal influence, the influence of church, state, whatever it is, our religions. But we have to come really clean and clear and say, I did it. There is no enlightenment until you say, I did it. I did it. I prompted that experience. I chose that. I am responsible for what I see. And I, with my responsibility, have created a nightmare for myself, or at very least some sense of contraction. So even if while we do, even if all we do is we just take responsibility for what we create and not even change that. Like, let's say it continues to be deep, dark, and painful. But if we say, okay, yes, okay, I own that. And we actually start to look, we don't say that with just words. We really say that with exploration, like digging into the substance of our perception and say, wow, I really did do that. And thank you, Joan. I can see that you're saying, yeah, Byron Katie, right? Like that process that I shared, that's very much influenced by Byron Katie's revelation, right? To notice that whatever I'm perceiving, let me check that out. Is that true? Does that feel good? Is that what I actually want? Is that a choice I'm compelled to make? No, 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 no. Okay, well, how about I try on a different outfit then, right? Instead of suffering, instead of fighting within this context. So Joan is saying, a quote from Byron Katie, defense is the first act of war. Indeed, but it's a war with yourself. And this is the thing that we really have to come to appreciate, that it is self-attack that is happening whenever you defend, whenever you attack, whenever you try to manipulate. There is nobody that you're having as great of an influence on as you. So whatever you're offering another, just like a tap of water, right? You turn on the tap and the water comes out. And yes, it can get other things wet, but the very first thing that gets wet is the tap. And you are the tap. So whatever you let out of yourself, whether it's love, you get that first. Whether it's fear, you get that first. Or whatever it is, you are the very first to taste, experience, and reap the fruits of that quality. And what comes forth from you is a direct response to what you perceive. I hope that makes sense. If you try to act at odds with your perception, and perception essentially that you believe in, we're talking about at this level, right? Because we saw that we can deconstruct perception, and because we can, and I'll give you that filter here in a moment, because we can very easily filter and see this is falsehood. This is false. This is dream matrix. This is an illusion. I'm not going here again. I'm not giving my power to this. But you can be in that state and still feel a little bit agitated. And then you can take your moments to really deconstruct it and see, well, am I doing this? Do I have a choice at this level? Find your choice. Use the Byron Katie's 4 questions, right? Um, and start to see. And you'll start to actually very directly feel very expanded because you realize you have that power, right? And so this opportunity to take responsibility for our perception is the very foundation of everything that we ever want. But let's take one more step towards the core of what we are, our true self, because self-realization is still our number one um, goal here. So let's summarize stage 1, the awakening. This is when we're waking up out of the dream that whatever my perception says about anything is the truth about that thing. We're waking up out of this dream. So this process of autosuggestion is happening all the time. It never stops. The autosuggestion of meaning making, right? So if we blame, this is the awakening, uh, if we blame others or anything outside of ourselves for how we feel, for what we have perceived, for what we see, like, oh, I see you, you're a narcissist. The moment you do that, you have given your power away and you are now trapped in that perception. It doesn't matter if you get away from that person or this person, your perception will find another narcissist. Your perception will find another person to gaslight you, another person to annoy you, another person to whatever it is that you seek to get away from. You can't get away from yourself. But because all the essence of all of this is that it's operating simply on at the level of your perception. It lives nowhere else. And so you can't just move from one person to another person and be like, oh, yeah, this is great. You know pretty well at this point through your own experience and the experience of many others that it's not possible to make a physical change and affect your consciousness. It is the primacy of consciousness that affects our physical experience or our dream experience. So whenever we blame, we trap ourselves, we lock ourselves into this lack of power, and we can only remain angry and sad and essentially fearful. But responsibility, taking responsibility for this process of perception, for the auto-suggestion that is coloring our experience, this is freedom. This is true power. So what you truly have at your disposal is this superpower. You have like this lens. It lives kind of like this. So you imagine like, okay, so anything at all in every world, be it hell or heaven or uh, earth or anything between, everything comes through this, this power of perception. Okay, because beyond this, you won't need anything that we're talking about. Beyond this is knowledge, and knowledge consists of oneness. So true knowledge is the knowledge of God, right? And that's beyond anything that we need to talk about or can talk about. But this thing that you have, this thing that interprets everything, this is like the guard at the gate of your consciousness, your perception, this thing. So this wish-fulfilling gem that is operating right here, things seemingly come into it. Let's talk about it like that for now. And then it presents them to you in a particular way, okay? This thing is entirely under your control. It's entirely programmable by you, and it is actually operating right now on your behalf, period. Another perspective on this thing is that this thing right now is hijacked by the dream matrix. It is plugged in such a way that it is feeding you images of fear, lack, limitation, darkness, separation, duality. But it's plugged in by your consent. Okay, I really want you to feel this. There is darkness. There is the dream matrix. There is ego. There are all of these different things. And yet, the only reason they are in your experience and in your reality is because of this thing, and this thing is your choice. So it's very important that we start to come into our own power about this. We start to really realize and feel tangibly that, oh, wow, okay, I'm feeding the dream matrix right now. Not interested in that anymore. Right? Like we got to do this. And then we care for this ourselves. We say, okay, all right, wish fulfilling gem of perception. I seek to behold the face of God in everything I see, in everyone I look upon. Do you remember? You do remember, because this is at the core of each and every one of us. Of course, the name of the game here is this dream, forgetting. But when we come together in the name of remembrance, we have this opportunity to wake up from the dream together. And so when you behold this wish-fulfilling gem, you start to interact with it in a way that says, you know what, instead of feeding the dream matrix, hey, Holy Spirit, perfect, perfect, divine, infinite intelligence, how about we plug that in? How about you please help to shape my perception, help to shape my mind so that I can see and interpret in alignment with true perception. Yeah, we have this opportunity. So what is true perception? True perception is the next stage of evolution. True perception is the awareness of perfect oneness. It is the consciousness of the kingdom. But it's almost like we can say we are at the door of the kingdom. You know, again, I hope you're with me here as you understand that I'm talking in multiple ways. Of course, we are already here. We are already in the kingdom of God. There's nowhere else to be. But the experience of knowledge and the experience of perception are two very distinct dimensions or ways of being with the dream. So when we're talking about true perception, this is the one this is the one thing that if you, yeah, there we go. If you filter everything that you see with this one question, then we start to see what is true perception and what is false perception. This one filter can help to basically eliminate the need for all of this reframing. Like what we're talking about here is not new, right? If you pay attention to NLP, you pay attention to psychology, positive psychology, energy psychology, blah blah blah. They're talking about you having a bad perception and you manipulate and substitute that and create a good perception. Ah, good. This is an excellent process. This is not the ultimate process. This is the process of where you still believe in good and evil, where you still believe that there are multiple powers out in the world and within you and etc., that there's you and the ego and blah, blah, blah. This world of duality, when we are asleep in it, use whatever means necessary to experience the good, to create the good, to think on the good, the beautiful, that which is worthy of good report, all of that. That, yes, 100%. But we also have an opportunity to go higher, or in other words, to step out of the duality of good and evil and multiple powers, right? And so what is that? What is that filter? What is that question? If we are truly in the mind of God, and if the infinite creator is truly the only reality that there is, and the infinite creator is love itself, if we ask this question being, does this, whatever I'm perceiving, conflict, let's say, does conflict exist in the mind of God? No? Okay, great. Then it's not real. It's not real. And that gives us our first clue that, oh, wow, I can take such responsibility for my perception that I can literally cut off the impulse that works with my past and with my programming and gives me the sense that there could be something that is a threat here at all. In fact, there is no threat in anything ever. And I understand that this is very difficult to accept and experience, because the mind will come up with, but this is happening in that part of the world, but this happened to me when I was, but that happened to her, and this happened to him, and there's all of these arguments. And I want you to know that that is the voice of the dream matrix that is simply telling you that no, you can't leave. That's the red tape that is there. It says, do not cross this line. Because as you begin to approach it and you say, wait, is it really possible that I live in total safety, security, peace, and love already? The ego sounds the alarms. The matrix alarms are going off. And it's like, no, of course not. You are, look at the world around you. Look at your past. Look at what's happening. What, are you crazy? How could you possibly think that you're safe? Right? If this was happening to you in a dream of the night, and you realized in that dream that you are lucid and that this is only a dream, and there is some catastrophe about to befall you, and people are like, oh my God, there's a tsunami coming. You can see that you have reason to smile and be fearless, right? If you remember the truth that that is a dream, the truth that you are safe. You're laying in your bed at night, you're totally, completely safe. And you can just, actually from that place, you can look at that tsunami coming and you say, peace, be still, my mind. Not be still the ocean, not be still something external to me, peace to my mind. Yeah. So when we begin to really own that we are shaping our perception at all times, that nothing is truly happening to us. Yes, of course, if you're handling and facing violent situations, you need to find food, water, shelter, obviously go for it, right? Like do that. But you can do that from a place of peace and the awareness of like, oh, wow, this is an interesting turn of events. But I know that this dream is inherently all about me waking up to the truth of who and what I am. So I gladly accept and embrace everything that is unfolding as on the way. There's no, so this is a premise, right? This is a foundational premise um, that you could establish yourself on because it's true, right? In the Course of Miracles, it also describes it like if you but knew who leads you through this dream, if you but knew what journey is planned for you, you would be so elated. You would be so at peace that you would have no worries. So this is our opportunity. This is our power. So the highest way that we can approach this is to say, actually, the core of what I should be rightly perceiving is total love and oneness. I should be able to see here, now, being every single instant of life, that all is well, that the beauty is unfolding, that life is unfolding, that this is the moment of salvation, that this is the moment where the fields are ripe onto the harvest. It is our time. This is the appointed time. Now, and again now, right? Because now you can either harvest from the storehouse of heaven, right? Your kingdom consciousness where you can see, wow, I am in the kingdom now. I remember that. I'm in the kingdom of God. And then something's unfolding that seems to suggest to you that there's limitation, lack, fear, separation. And you say, does that exist in God's kingdom? Does that exist in love? Is that what God created? No. I must be seeing that wrong. Let me back up here for a moment so that I can behold the face of God even here in the midst of war, in the midst of war-torn fields and agony. Can I behold the truth? Can I see beyond the dream matrix? Can I see beyond appearances? And of course, this is our destiny for each and every one of us. There is no other way. Each and every being is an aspect of the infinite creator. We are all coming home. We are already home. But yeah, let's enjoy this dream and see how that unfolds. It's going to be fantastic every step of the way. But only if you remember the truth. If you don't, it will be scary and terrifying and really disheartening um, a lot of the times. So remembering the truth is different than abiding and living in the truth. That is ultimately our goal, in which case you don't need to filter anything. You just know, you live in communion with the Spirit, with the Holy Spirit, right? You are one with her, essentially, or him, if you want to say, okay? Um, so, but we work our way up to that through this constant remembering. So in the law of one, this is called the catalyst, right? Whatever happens that triggers you, whatever happens that brings up this uncomfortable feeling, something that is other than peace, love, and joy, oh, magic. Let's embrace that moment. I know it's the hardest thing to do. It's fine if we don't embrace it in the moment, but remember later that, oh, wow, this is here to wake me up. This is here to empower me. This is here to liberate me further. Amazing. Thank you. Come on in. So, whenever we have those opportunities, we use those to remember the truth and to take responsibility for our perception. Okay. I hope that served you. Let's go into a little meditation together. Spend a little time in silence and in really becoming familiar with. Remember, this is what meditation really means, to become familiar with the truth. Wonderful. So let's take a moment now to have a deep breath, to let all the air out first, and then take a deep breath all the way into your belly. And sigh it out. Let your body relax. Mm. And I invite you to take one more deep breath. And let your body relax as you exhale. And one last deep, full breath. I want to invite you to make this one the fullest, bringing oxygen, expansion into your body, breathing in all the way up. Relax your body as you exhale. Relax your eyes, relax your shoulders, relax your tongue. Relax all the way down the front and back of your body. Relax your perineum. And allow yourself to rest. Feeling the air moving in and out of your body as your body gently expands and contracts as it breathes. Just observe it now. Don't try to control it in any way. Just notice how everything is arising and dissipating all on its own. Nothing requires your effort right now. So allow yourself to become aware now of the background of silence. Use the music and my voice and realize that in between each sound and behind all sound is a background of silence. Changeless, stainless, forever unaffected by any sound. And as your mind rests on silence, take a moment to notice stillness. Using the contrast of the sensations of your body, notice that behind every sensation, every change and movement is total stillness. And use these portals of stillness and silence to consciously enter the unconditioned dimension of our being. When you are here in you and I am here in me, we are in one place. Just allow yourself to rest here. Let the frequency of this unconditioned awareness, stillness, silence, let it touch you. Let it touch your mind, your body. Allow it to dissolve all stress, all past, and all future. Let it touch your nervous system, even for an instant at a time. Bringing healing, coherence, and reminding us of the wholeness that we are. As you rest here, just notice how it feels, how your mind is and your body is when you make contact with this place in you, the quietness of the mind, the relaxation of the body. But one more dimension, still dormant. Bring your awareness now to your own heart and remember where you are now, in this very instant. You are in the mind and heart of God. You are in the presence of the infinite Creator. Allow yourself to open to this awareness now. Allow yourself to feel the vastness of presence, safety, love. And notice if you can make contact with this space within you, the awareness of God's presence, in a way that brings a smile to your face, quite naturally. Seek it out within your heart, tune into it. It's here. It's already and always here, broadcasting at all times. Tune in and receive. Stillness, silence, and the love of the infinite Creator within you and all around you. It is impossible to be outside of infinity. And if God is not infinite, then what is? And if God is infinite, what room is there for anything else? Open your heart, tune in. I am in the presence of God, here and now. Let your mind pay more attention to this than anything in the dream that seemed to be unfolding before this moment. Receive the presence of love. Feel it. Feeling is the secret. Feeling is communion. Feel after God's presence. Stillness, silence, the presence of love. And as we begin to come to a close, I want to invite you to just place a hand on your heart if that feels good for you. And just bless yourself in this presence now. Bless your heart for the highest good. Behold it, smile at your heart and say, I bless you for the highest, greatest good. I thank you for the love, for the joy, for the expansion that you have gifted me. I bless you to love unconditionally. I bless you to influence my perception so that in all that I see, I behold the face of God. I behold the likeness of our Creator. I bless you, unconditional love, for unconditional peace, for joy that is true. So just breathe into your heart, receive, behold, smile, embrace, and let yourself feel grateful for investing this time, this energy, investing your consciousness into your remembrance of the truth. And when you're ready, you can begin to slowly come back. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I want to thank you so much for journeying with me today. I hope this has served you. Practice this awareness. Practice the responsibility for your perception. Feel its power, develop it, and there will be nothing that throws you off in what's happening in the world of appearances, because you'll know that nothing is happening except what you decree within these silent recesses of your mind. And we're becoming more and more aware of what we are doing within that is creating the experience that we see without. So I want to thank you so much. Thank you for all your participation, Joan. I appreciate all your comments today. And this replay will be up in the members section on YouTube. And what we'll be doing moving forward is doing a regular call on Thursdays, at least for the next 4 to 6 weeks, but most likely ongoingly for the next 3 months. And I look forward to seeing you here next time, and we'll continue to journey deeper together. So I want to thank you very much. And as always, stay inspired and continue to bless life through your perception by seeing the truth in whatever you behold. Take great, great care. and I'll see you again soon.